Another Legends of Runeterra set coming out soon, and with it, another batch of leaked voice lines. Last year, we were still on the Bilgewater set, and we already knew every single champion part of the Targon set. My first video ever actually talked about that. And now, with the Shurima set coming next month, people already data mined voice lines for it and found the champions that will be coming soon. If you don't want to get spoiled on which champions will come, you probably shouldn't watch this video, as I will be talking about that, as well as which regions these champions will be part of, when they will be released, and even speculate on what will come after Shurima for Legends of Runeterra. Let's start with the basics. You might have realized this by now, but each time we got a new set in lore, that set came with a new region and every single other region got a new champion. We started with 4 champions for each region, then got 5 Bilgewater champions alongside 1 for every other region, then 6 champions from Targon alongside 1 for every other region. And the leaks suggest this pattern will remain consistent, as we will be getting 7 champions from Shurima and 8 champions each for a different region. As confirmed on Twitter by Skin Spotlights, the new champions are Azir, Echo, Irelia, Jarvan, Kindred, LeBlanc, Lissandra, Malphite, Nasus, Pyke, Renekton, Sivir, Taliyah, and Zilean. Azir, Nasus, Renekton, Sivir, and Taliyah are obviously all from Shurima. Jarvan is from Demacia, Lissandra from Freljord, Irelia from Ionia, LeBlanc from Naxos, Echo from Piltover and Zaun, and Pyke from Bilgewater. I'm assuming Aphelios is our Targon champion from the Shurima set, despite the fact a lot of people speculated that he was an extra and not actually part of the set, since Riot said that they wanted to bring more champions more often to lore. I think releasing Aphelios before his set came was what they meant by this. Regardless, there are still some champions left to mention. The only region left for Kindred is the Shadow Isles, and despite Kindred having no connection to the Isles, I'm assuming that just like Nocturne, they will be placed there because they fit the theme of the region. Not something I particularly like, but it's not that big of a deal. Malphite is actually considered to be a champion from Ixtal, yet it seems that he will be placed in Shurima. I think this confirms that Ixtal won't be a region in lore, which itself isn't that surprising considering that of all regions, Ixtal has the least amount of champions, and it seems that Zilean will also be a champion from Shurima, despite being a champion from Runeterra on Universe. This isn't anything new. Champions like Lucian and Fizz are also considered champions from Runeterra on Universe, but their inclusions on Demacia and Bilgewater make sense, and Zilean being from Icathia, it makes sense to place him in Shurima. I am expecting a redesign for him to make him fit the theme and aesthetic of the region a bit more, since his design is very outdated. With this being said, this should be the full roster of champions for the upcoming set. So now we know that we'll be getting the first champions in March when the set arrives, then more in May, June and July. The July is labeled Champion Expansion, meaning something on the scale of Aphelios, with probably only 1 champion release. With the release of the Targon set, we got 7 new champions, and then 3 more for each expansion. I'm assuming something similar will happen with Shurima. If the last final expansion is just like Aphelios and it comes only with 1 champion, that leaves us with 13 champions. If each expansion comes with 3 champions, then the initial release of the region will come with 7 champions, just like the Targon expansion. I think this is what makes the most sense, but let me know down below if you have a better idea. Now I'll speculate about the champions synergy, which champions will have new mechanics and which champions will be good together. I think the most obvious pair is Zilean and Echo. Both definitely will get a mechanic related to time, maybe reverting a card to its initial state, removing the buffs and debuffs, or maybe reverting the whole board a few plays back. Taliyah and Malphite being rock themed would also make sense to be paired. I'm not sure what the mechanic would be, but probably something defensive like a special type of shield or armor. I think Nasus and Kindred will also be paired. The June expansion is called Rise of the Underworld, and the image used depicts a being with 2 jackal heads, reminiscent of Nasus, which is based on Anubis, the Egyptian god of the dead, and Kindred is the personification of death in Runeterra. I can see they both having some kind of stacking mechanic, since they both have it on League, perhaps gaining stacks by killing or seeing units dying. The rest are harder to pair. I can see maybe Pyke and Sivir, since in League, Pyke's gold share mechanic is quite unique, and they could maybe tie it to Sivir since she's a bounty hunter, but perhaps this is a stretch. Azir, Lissandra and Jarvan are all leaders with armies of soldiers, so I could also see some kind of mechanic where they summon soldiers to fight for them, especially Azir Azir and Lissandra, as I think that maybe they have something else planned for Jarvan, probably based on his ultimate. One thing to keep in mind is that we will be getting a Rune King event, and I assume it will be in May, since not only do we have a themed event confirmed for that month, but also champion skins, which could mean Rune skins for lore. Not necessarily the same from League, but perhaps yes, the same from League. Keep in mind that the Rune King game was delayed alongside other stuff from Riot's various games, so it's hard to predict if the cross promotion will be a thing or not, and if the release dates of all the Shadow Isles content will be around the same time across all games. Previously, Shurima was supposed to come out in February, but is now confirmed to come in March, so it's likely that the new region after will not come in August as promised. But what region is this? Well, it's actually very obvious. As I said, Ixtal will likely not be a region in the game, there are not many champions from the region, and one of them was made part of Shurima, so the same will likely happen with the remaining Ixtal champions. If we check the remaining known regions and the unused region icons found in the game's files, we got Zon, which was merged with Piltover, Bandle City, which we can consider scrapped since Teemu was made part of Piltover and Zon, and Lulu was made part of Ionia. Targon is already on the game, Shurima is coming out soon, and the only region left is the Void. Yep, the Void is finally coming to Legends of Runeterra, and as I said in my first video, this is likely why we are yet to get any Void related cards. On Universe, we got exactly 8 Void champions, which would perfectly match the number it would need to follow the pattern that I mentioned before. I really wonder what they will do when they start running out of champions for each region. They could obviously do what they did with Lulu, Teemu, Nocturne and Kindred, but for the Void, you don't really have many options besides the 8 obvious champions. And with regions like Ionia, PNZ and Shurima/Ixtal having so many champions, they will probably have to break their pattern, which they would have to do anyway since there are no other regions to include in the game. I am very curious to see what will happen when that time comes. With this being said, make sure to like the video if you enjoy this type of content, leave a comment with suggestions and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any video that I post.